Krishna 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 Hey. Krishna 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 Hey. Krishna 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 Rakshama. Krishna 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahimam. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahimam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Om Tale Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Disha Charine. Gauravani Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Abhijit. Let's give him a big Haribol. I am what we say stoked when I see such a large turnout. Jai. So I have written a song called Back Home Once Again. So I visit different temples, but this temple is my home. All in favor say, Hare Krishna. Very good. Because there was a time in my life when I didn't have a home temple. And in 1983, the temple president then was Vatsaladas. And he had met me a couple of times elsewhere. And so when I had nowhere else to go, back against the wall, between a rock and a hard place, I called up Vatsal and said, I need shelter. He said, yeah, come on, we'll find you a place. And ever since August of 1983, it's getting better all the time. Something special about this temple. Over the years, I have met many Indian people, and one in particular, I've heard it several times, but way back in the late 90s, I used to be the one to do the announcements. And I remember one Sunday, after coming out, going to take prasad, one Indian, I don't know if it was a man or woman, but they said to me, I've been to many temples all over this world, but there's something special about this temple. So it is a fact. So we should be very, very, there is a song that we sing, and the translation of one of the lines, let the privilege of devotion, give me the privilege of devotional service. And I like to meditate that I cannot take coming here or any kind of devotional service for granted. It's a privilege, and I have to cherish it. So with that in mind, first, I would like to offer my respects to all of you. Last night I was speaking in a temple in Placentia, and I was mentioning how the great Mahadev, Lord Shiva, he told his wife Sati at that time, this is before she became Parvati. She was known as Sati, the pet daughter of Daksha. And there was some misunderstanding. And Lord Shiva once told Sati, I do not pay obeisances to the person who identifies with the body. No. I pay obeisances to Krishna in the heart of the person. I find that very, very instructive. So, Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayevacha patatanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. The mantra I sang is referred to in the Chaitanya Charitamrita as the Rama Raghava mantra. And I always sing that song before speaking on this particular book, the book that made me a devotee, Krishna book. This Krishna book It took only 6 chapters to convince me I am joining Prabhupada's movement. One night, frustrated, illusioned, disillusioned, confused, unhappy, miserable, 12 o'clock midnight, I had gotten the book on the way to where I was going, Columbus, Ohio, in the dead of winter. And I had gotten the book from a devotee who had given me 6 months earlier my very first book, Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. But when I met her, she gave me now this big book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I tried to read it on the bus from New York to Columbus, Ohio. But there was all these big words, Shiro Dakashayi Vishnu, Prajumna Das Brahmachari. It was like, I can't read this right now. But fast forward 2 months later, February, on this particular night, I was totally frustrated. My world was crashing down like some of our political candidates. They're crashing down. I said, where is that book? So I sat by myself, midnight. I'm going to read this book. Chapter 1, chapter 2. And by the time chapter 6, Krishna had killed the Putana witch, must have been like 3 o'clock in the morning, I closed the book. I'm going to join Prabhupada and the movement. So that was late February. Then I visited the temple by chance, late March, early April. And when I went to the temple, Prabhupada was there. And of course, I've said this thousands of times, I took spinach Mahaprasad on a little piece of wax paper. I jumped up, give me more, what is this? And they said, you got to come back tomorrow. So I'll be here. I can't get this food anywhere in Nueva, New York. No. And I heard Prabhupada give class. I saw Prabhupada, and the evening, we went there in the evening. When Prabhupada walked out of the room, Prabhupada was glowing. And all the devotees were in the corridor. We had just watched a play. I think it was Krishna kidnapping Rukmini. Prabhupada liked it. And so after the play, everybody came out into the hallway. And then Prabhupada came out, and all the devotees went down to pay obeisances. I didn't know anything. But when I saw this aurora borealis, when I saw these rays coming from Prabhupada, I hit the floor and I said, I have found the modern Jesus. That was my realization. It was so powerful. So I owe everything to this Krishna book. And Prabhupada emphasized these books because his guru emphasized. Prabhupada was in Radha Kund, and his Guru Maharaj was very disturbed because they had spent crores and crores of rupees on a new building temple in Calcutta. But Bhaktisiddhanta saw that his neophyte devotees, now they were arguing, this room is mine. No, this room is mine. Bhaktisiddhanta was thinking, ugh. So he told Prabhupada confidentially, and of all places, Radha Kund. How many have been to Radha Kund, the most sacred spot? And Bhaktisiddhanta told Prabhupada, if you ever get money, print books. I wish I could take all the marble that we used to construct this temple. I think it was called Bag Bazaar. I want to sell all the marble, tear down the temple, and print books. That would be better. So Prabhupada took this instruction very seriously. If you ever get money, print books. And those of us who were around back then, that was the constant drumbeat. Distribute and print books. Archita, you came here from New York to work on Prabhupada's books, right?
Working in New York, president.
Yes, you came here. So you were part of that marathon. Haribol. And of course, one of my favorite stories, I think it happened here. At that time, Prabhupada's BBT trustee was Rameshwara Das. And he was such an enthusiastic devotee back then. He was always fired up about books and book distribution. He was like a mastermind. So they had just printed a new volume of the Bhagavatam. So he rushed in, Prabhupada. And the first editions had gold leaf. So it was special. So he brought the book to Prabhupada. And he told Prabhupada, we're going to go out and distribute it right away. Prabhupada said, no, first read it. Because he told us, I'm writing these books for you. They're not just to make money. No, Prabhupada wrote his books to help us to become like him, pure devotees of Krishna. And I have read this Krishna book. I can't even count the number of times. I mentioned last time I was here, every Wednesday I do a Zoom class with devotees from Panama and elsewhere, and we spend an hour reading Krishna book. I even sing a song with my guitar. And then the best part of the program is everybody who attends gets to share their realizations. It's not all about me. No, we want to hear. So anyone who would like to, it's free, doesn't cost any money. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m., just send me an email that you would like to be included, and you're invited to the party. We want to hear your realizations. As we say, a splendid time is guaranteed for all. So take one of my cards, send me an email, and you'll always get an invitation every Tuesday morning to remind you. And I also have here at the end, I have CDs of different lectures and classes. Take as many as you like, free of charge. So they're there for you. Let us begin. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And for those who may not know, today is a special day because my better half has joined me. So I'm normally in a good mood, but when she comes, I'm in a gooder mood. You know, one time, many years ago, one of my daughter's teenage friends, she went up to her and said, "What's it like living with that Nirantara?" She can tell you. No denying. Works both ways. Okay, so I'm in the process of compiling different quotations. So my latest project is, what is the Krishna consciousness movement? So I've gone through all of Prabhupada's books, and I am extracting every purport or anything where Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement is. So in Krishna book, right there in the preface and introduction, Prabhupada tells us. Are you ready to hear Prabhupada? Sit properly. Prabhupada writes, the art of focusing one's attention on the Supreme and giving one's love to Him is called Krishna consciousness. We have inaugurated the Krishna consciousness movement so that everyone can satisfy his or her propensity for loving others simply by directing one's love toward Krishna. So that, I'm going to stop there. Because here is something concrete. What is Krishna consciousness? It is the art of focusing one's attention on, now he says, the Supreme. So this word Supreme can mean the impersonal Brahman. It can mean Krishna in the heart, Paramatma, or it can mean Krishna. So he makes it clear, simply by directing one's love toward Krishna. So, you know, I've said it many times. I once asked Prabhupada in a Sunday feast lecture, Atlanta, 1975. I was a brahmachari. I didn't know her. I was a brahmachari from New York. And I was traveling around the country, distributing books, collecting donations. So we wound up in Atlanta, and Prabhupada was there. And the temple room was filled with so many brahmacharis. So Prabhupada's Vyasa-san was in the back of the temple, and I was sitting by the altar, Gaur-Nitai, big Gaur-Nitai deities in Atlanta. And Prabhupada was giving the Sunday feast talk, and usually Prabhupada would take questions. So I was thinking, this may be my only shot. I raised my hand. Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? And Prabhupada then asked his secretary at that time, Tamal Krishna Goswami, as if he didn't hear. So you could hear Tamal, because the microphone was hot. You could hear him say, Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? And Prabhupada tilted his head slightly, closed his eyes, and then, what we say in the business, he ate the microphone, meaning get real close. When you love Krishna. And the whole temple went, Haribol! Because it was a shock. We didn't expect such a, we were expecting, distribute books, distribute. He was like, what? He said that? So I take that, that's my instruction from my spiritual master. In this life, I must learn how to love Krishna. And the way to love Krishna, here it is. Focus your attention. Chant his holy name. Read about Krishna. By reading about Krishna, you will become attracted. Because everything about Krishna is attractive. You all love Krishna Prasad, right? That's the easiest way to appreciate. You must love the deities, right? You must love the kirtan. Let's see if you love my class. I'll ask you at the end for my grade. So Krishna consciousness means directing one's love towards Krishna. Now that cannot be misunderstood, because that doesn't mean that I don't love anybody else. No. It means that becomes your focus. He says, focus. So first we love Krishna, and if you love Krishna, automatically you will love everyone else. Why? Because what did I say at the beginning? Krishna's in your heart. Yes, he's even in the heart of the demon. That doesn't mean I'm going to hug a demon, but I have to at least recognize. I know for some people it's like, what? Krishna's in his heart? Nah, I can't. No, he is. Krishna's in everyone's heart. So when you love Krishna first, you have love for everyone, especially devotees, because devotees you're part of the Achyuta Gotra, the family of Krishna. Welcome. We're all here in Achyuta Gotra, the family of Krishna. Group hug. We're all together, one big family. Let's continue with this paragraph. The whole world is very eager to satisfy the dormant propensity of love for others. Is that true? We all have a propensity to love others. But, here's the but. But the various invented methods like socialism, communism, altruism, humanitarianism, and nationalism, along with whatever else may be manufactured for the prosperity and peace of the world, these are all useless and frustrating because of our gross ignorance of the art of loving Krishna. It's an art. And anyone who's an artist or a musician, the key to becoming a better artist or musician, practice. 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 Yes. That's what we do every day. We're practicing, focusing our attention on Krishna. Generally, people think that by advancing the cause of moral principles and religious rights, they will be happy. Others may think that happiness can be achieved by economic development, and yet others think that simply by sense gratification they will be happy. But the real fact is that people can be happy only by loving Krishna. So here we see things that we can meditate on. And if you internalize, if you imbibe this, then you will be in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means I'm seeing everything, I'm experiencing everything according to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Here's our Guru, our founder Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, without whom this would not be. None of this would be without him. Last night I was speaking in a temple, and after the program during Prasadam, one Indian family was asking me, oh, tell us about, because the lecture was about Prabhupada's coming to America and the poem that he wrote in Boston while he was docked on the ship Jaladuta. And Prabhupada wrote this brilliant poem, which I subtitle The Preacher's Prayer. And I told the audience last night, every year I must do a class on that poem, because it's like a tune-up. It's like a New Year's resolution. This is how a preacher should think. Because the topic last night was humility. The sponsor of the program requested me to talk about humility. So I quoted from Bhagavad Gita because there's a chapter 13, where Krishna outlines 18, 19 different items of knowledge. And he says at the end, and apart from this is all ignorance. So what does Krishna say is the first item of knowledge? Humility. Humility. Now, there are so many ways. Now, the way Prabhupada defined humility in that Bhagavad Gita, he says, you're not anxious to receive praise from others. And there are other definitions. So Lord Chaitanya, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Krishnadas Kaviraj, there is one section where my two favorite shlokas are explained. My two favorite shlokas, here's the first one. Trinadapi sunichena Charar iva sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtaniya sadahari harinama harinama harinamaiva kevalam kalo nastyeva 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 gatir Anyatha. So in the Adi Leela, Krishnadas Kaviraj first explains this Harinama Shloka. That according to the Brihan Naradiya Purana, we are definitely in the age of Kali. You don't need much convincing. Just turn on the news. Within 1 minute, you'll know, oh yeah, we're in the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. That's the news every night. Quarrel, hypocrisy. Goes on. And it gets worse and worse. And I hate to be the foreteller, but this year it's going to get more, mega worse. Strap in. Take shelter of Krishna, because this is going to be a rough year. Stay safe. Stay out of whatever and take shelter. That's what I'm going to do, especially as we get closer to if there's going to be an election. Stay safe, my friends. Stay safe. Vote by mail. That's what I do. So this Harinama Shloka says that 3 times for emphasis. No other way. No other way. No other way. I was telling the audience last night, yes, I can identify. Because when I was Nikki back in Hempstead, Long Island, my mother every day would say, Nikki, did you brush your teeth? I wouldn't pay attention. And my wife, when we got married, she said, you should go to the dentist. I don't need no dentist. And she would repeatedly tell me, if you don't go to the dentist, someday you're going to talk like this. And I would say, oh, you stupid woman. But then the day came. I finally went because I had a big abscess. So we went to one dentist. They took one look. Oh, we can't help you. They got to come out. What? So we went to a second dentist. They took one look. Oh, can't help you, buddy. We went to how many? 4 or 5 dentists? Yeah, we went, everyone gave the same verdict. The teeth have to come out. 6 months and I was still giving classes with no teeth. But tell you how great Krishna is. One time I gave a Bhagavad Gita class, and there was a young man sitting back there. And after the class, he came up and said, you don't have any teeth. I go, yeah. But I could hear every word you said clearly. I said, that's Krishna. But now you see, they're here. Moral of the story is, listen to the wife. So, it says 3 times Harir Nama. It says 3 times no other way. That in this age of Kali, if you want to make tangible spiritual advancement, the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. Then there was another statement. And this statement is my response when people come up to me and say, Prabhuji, Krishna says in Gita that whenever there is irreligion, wherever there is bad things, that Krishna comes. Why isn't Krishna coming now? And then I quoted this verse. Krishna has come in the age of Kali. Nama avatar. Krishna Rupa Nama avatar. Krishna's appearance in Kali Yuga is his holy name. That's why we're called the Hare Krishna movement. Because this whole movement is based on chanting, in case you didn't know, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. I don't hear you. I was telling the audience last night that I've been like, who was it? You, Archita, who said 50 years? Who said 50 years? That was Swabas or you? Swabas? Oh, he was being nice. Yes, preaching all these years, you learn a few tricks of the trade. So I was explaining to them that when I come here, it's a different home field advantage, so to speak. You have to know your audience. That's the art of preaching. I said when I go to San Diego once a month, it's a different home field. So I have to tailor. And when I go to their temple in Placentia, it's a whole nother ball game. That's the art of preaching. Knowing who am I speaking to. So you'll notice that during the arti, what am I doing? I'm looking around, okay. I'm making notes so that I tailor my wonderful dissertation. How am I doing so far? Practice, that's the key. You only get better by practice. So, Krishna has appeared in the age of Kali by this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. But then I got a text message from Krishna last night while I was speaking. Now, believe it or not, the temple I went to last night is the only temple that I can recall that people come up for blessings while I'm speaking. So, if you ever see some of my YouTube videos, I'm giving a class and I'm like this. I'm not skipping a beat, but people are expecting blessings because I'm known in ISKCON as the blesser. And after class, I'm glad you don't come up during the class, but after class, you can, no charge. There's no blessing tax. It's free. Tax deductible. So then I was reminded because I was speaking, and then I remembered a class I had given there previously, and I said, oh yeah, we just learned a week or two ago that the sages of Naimisharanya, they asked Sutta Goswami 6 questions. And the final question, which was the most important, now that Krishna has returned to his abode and the age of Kali has officially begun, where will people go for shelter? And the answer, Who knows the answer? Srimad Bhagavatam. How many knew that answer? Nobody? Oh, good. Very good. Excellent. We need to do more reading over here. Yes, in this age of Kali, it says that Bhagavatam is brilliant as the sun. And then that reminded me of an incident. And I buffered it. I said, you may believe me because, some people can be skeptics. So I said, you can believe me or not, that's okay. I believe. I have a very good sannyasi friend. His name is Guru Prasad Swami, my god brother. And so one time, he came to my house when I used to live in Torrance. And my wife is famous for her, that's why I married her, cooking. Right, Archita? Varuni's Kitchen, the best, huh? Long may you live. So he came over and we went for a walk and we were talking. And he told me an incident that, like his preaching, you're his disciple. He preaches all over South America, Central America. So this time he was telling me, oh yes, we sometimes have to go into the Amazon villages. People practice voodoo. That's their religion. Yes. So people are in the mode of darkness, the mode of ignorance. So, Prabhupada's books. They have very distinctive covers, bright, brilliant covers. So sometimes the devotees would go and they would show the people the book and they would go like this. It was too bright. It was too, yes. Because these books, Bhagavatam is brilliant like the sun. And I can testify, it's these books. That's what convinced me, was these books. And these books continue to help me and guide me. Because, let me just be very frank. I don't know how I went through high school. I never read the books. I would just pay attention in class somehow or other. Yeah, I graduated valedictorian, but not because of my smarts. I got valedictorian because of my speaking. I was like a protest candidate. It was 1968. So, when the news came over the intercom that I was the valedictorian, I don't know what happened, but people in my class, they put me in a chair, raised me up, and ran through the halls. The reason why was the previous year, they had a speech contest to see who could give the best. So how did I start my speech? I will show you. They had a lectern, you stood. And the first thing I said to the auditorium, you are all damned. And I got a standing ovation. So they figured, we'll make him valedictorian because he will give a great speech at graduation. And the guy because valedictorian usually means the smartest guy. And he happened to sit behind me in homeroom. So when my name got mentioned, he was like, because it should have been him. So he got second place as a consolation prize. What a life. Anyway, those are called tangents. That's how you keep the audience. You keep the audience by engaging them. Everybody say, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. See? That's how you. Also, besides shloks, nice jokes. Shloks and jokes together, you got a good lecture. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also going to give people shelter in this age of Kali. So Prabhupada emphasized these books, Gita and Bhagavatam, our whole philosophy. Actually, I read recently, it's Bhagavad Gita which is the foundation of our philosophy. And if you'll notice, if you critically study how Prabhupada preaches, how Prabhupada writes, he's always quoting Gita as the foundation. Then, yes, you can give references from Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, but you have to know Gita. A few weeks ago we did the annual Gita Yagya. How many people attended? You heard me in my separated form. People sometimes say, Prabhu, I kept hearing your voice, but where were you? Ah, yes, me in my unmanifest form. Only in New Dwarka. So, we have to be convinced that the holy name is the only way. And then, Lord Chaitanya, in the final chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, gives his own purport on the Shikshastakam prayers. That's the only thing Lord Chaitanya wrote, was those 8 verses. How many people read that Shikshastakam every day? Ah, good. You are going to make great advancement. Because that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. If you recite those Shikshastakam prayers every day, your love of Godhead will swell and grow. They're so powerful. So the third shloka is mentioned, should be worn around one's neck on the thread of the holy name for constant remembrance. And there are 4 items. Trinad api sunichena. I have to feel myself lower than the blade of grass. And what I say is, you get married, you'll understand the purport of that line. If she's a good wife, she'll be on your case 24/7. It'll keep you feeling lower than a blade. Or, it's football season, right? Or soccer. How do I consider? On the football field, the soccer field, the big people are pounding the grass, right? There I am. During the stupid bowl, there I am. Lower than a blade of grass. That is how to feel. Torah iva sahishnuna. Tolerance, tolerance, tolerance. Lord Chaitanya gives us a tree meditation. The tree tolerates the scorching heat, the blistering cold winds, like on the East Coast right now. All the trees are frozen with ice and snow. But do you hear the trees? They just tolerate. So the tree tolerates the dualities, and the tree gives you everything. In the summer, shade, huh? Gives you nice shade. Does the tree ask for any? Hey man, you're taking my shade. Bakshish, please. No, the she. And people come, take the fruits, the flowers, the leaves. The tree doesn't ask for anything. And then people come with their knives. Harry loves Sally. The tree gets a tattoo. But the tree doesn't protest. Lord Chaitanya says, this is how a devotee has to think. More tolerant than the tree. Again, those of you who have children, you have learned it. Right? Having children forces you to learn tolerance. 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it's your turn. No, it's your turn. Right? Does that happen? Yes. Tolerance. Then, not expecting honor from others. That's a hard one. But that was the thing Prabhupada said in that Bhagavad Gita purport. Humility means not, expecting honor in society. And then giving all respects to others, which we did at the beginning when we offered Vanchakalpa. And Lord Chaitanya says, if you can do these 4 things, then you can easily chant the holy name. So it has been my experience that if I have trouble chanting, then I go through my checklist. Why am I struggling to chant Hare Krishna? Why is it so hard? Am I feeling myself lower than a blade of grass? Am I tolerant? Am I giving all respect to others? Am I expecting 100,000 likes on Facebook? I go through the checklist and then I can see, this is why I'm having trouble saying Hare Krishna. So, how did I do? Did you like the class? Smile, you're on candid camera. Good. It's good evidence. So let's finish up by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Take it away. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed. Take prasadam to your full satisfaction. If you want blessings, come. They're free of charge. I'll see you next month, if I'm still alive.
You're always alive in your separated form.